Welcome back to the River Rats video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about fishing chatterbaits around docks in the spring. So get ready because it is a great bite. You can catch your biggest bass of the year. They're big and fat, ready to eat. It's a blast. So stay tuned and should be a good one. Hopefully you guys learned something. So the first thing that I'm going to be talking about is the rod and reel setup that I like to use. I like to use a Daiwa Tatula 7.4 heavy glass, but it's not actually glass. I'll put up exactly what it is right here, but it basically is the same thing as glass. It has a super parabolic bend. I got that paired up with a Daiwa Tatula TW103 with 16-pound cranking fluorocarbon from Sunline. The reason why I have cranking fluorocarbon is because it is kind of similar to a mono it has a little bit of stretch to it, so when the fish jumps and it shakes around, it absorbs the head shakes and absorbs the movement, so you don't get slack line. And of course the glass rod also helps with that a lot too, but yeah. Now the next rod is a new rod that I got this year, so I have not used it. I got a Daiwa Tatula Elite medium heavy 7.6, so it is a little bit longer, but it is a medium heavy regular. This one's not a glass, this one's just like a straight up graphite, paired up with a Daiwa 100 or Daiwa Tatula 100. Yeah, I think this one I'm mostly going to be using for my mini maxes, my just smaller chatterbaits. So that's kind of my plan for that. I think I'll be able to throw smaller chatterbaits better with this rod. Not saying you can't use it with that rod. Obviously you can obviously throw them on that rod, but yeah. So let's get into the main baits I like to use. The main bait I like to use is the jackhammer, of course. I like to use 3 colors mainly. One of the colors is Ghost Gill. Right there, I love to use that when the water is super clear. Another color is Clearwater Shad. It's another great color. This one I use when the water is clear. I haven't used it when the water is dirty and clear. It's kind of that one that I just have confidence in with both. Then here's one that I mostly use for dirty water. This one's a little bit beat up, but basically green pumpkin chartreuse. I think it's called Bee Height Delight, I believe. But yeah, so you got that green pumpkin top, chartreuse bottom. So the reason why I like to use the jackhammer over the original. Now the jackhammer is obviously more expensive. I believe it's like 17, maybe 18 even dollars. But you do get what you pay for. This is a way better chatterbait, especially when I'm fishing docks. Now, this is the original chatterbait. This is the jackhammer chatterbait. This one's $6, I believe, or somewhere like, yeah, around $6. This one's 17 something dollars. But there is a big difference here. When I'm fishing this bait, I will cast this and I sometimes get 1-2 even feet of dead time where this blade is not moving, not doing anything. It's just going like, it's not moving. So basically you got 2 foot of dead water. Versus this bait, first crank starts up immediately as soon as you start cranking it, which in the long run is huge. Say you fish 50 docks, which some people probably will even fish more than that a day. 2 foot on each dock, that's 100 foot of water that basically is 100 feet of good water to fish. That is huge, especially when you're in a tournament and you're fishing for money. 100 feet of strike zone water is a lot of water. So that's why I like to use the jackhammer chatterbait over the original chatterbait. Now, they did make one that is called the Evo. That is, I want to say $10 or $11. Now, I haven't used this one, so I can't say much about it, but I have heard that it is similar to a jackhammer in the way that it starts up super quick, except for this has a lead head and the jackhammer has a tungsten head. So that's why I use the jackhammer 90% of the time. Now, of course, if I want to go smaller, I go with the Mini Max. See, Mini Max, smaller. I'll compare it next to the jackhammer. This is the Mini Max. That is the jackhammer. Now, obviously, there's a difference in hook, difference in blade, difference in the head. Yeah, this is just a smaller profile. Now, if I want to go bigger, here is the big blade. And both the Mini Max and the big blade do start up fairly quick. Not as quick as the jackhammer, but they do start up fairly quick. So, yeah. Now, when I'm using the big blade, I do go with a 5.5 inch trailer. I do like to use a spunk shad. When I use the jackhammer, I 80% of the time use a 4.5 inch. Here, 4.5 inch, 5.5 inch. Or if I'm using big blade, I 90% of the time throw this on the big blade. And then if I use the Mini Max, I will go down to, I believe it's a 3.5. I don't know if I have any of those with me here, but it's just a smaller size. So, like I was saying, I like to use the Hog Farmer Spunk Shad. Also, Missile Baits makes the Spunk Shad. Same exact mold, different colors. This one I like to use when I'm using that Clearwater Shad color. It's called Goby Bite. When I use Bee Height Delight, I like to go with the Green Pumpkin Chartreuse Spunk Shad. And then when I'm using Ghost Gill, I like to go with the 4.5 inch natural gill. Now, I use a lot of Hog Farmer, but I do use a fair amount of Z-Man Razor Shads. This is another great bait. And Green Pumpkin. I mostly use Green Pumpkin in this. There is another one that I like to use, which is, I'll put it up right here. I basically like a natural color and a non-natural color. Now they did just come out with a Chatter Spike, or Z-Man just came out with the Chatter Spike, which I have not used yet, but I'm super excited to use. It is basically a razor shad with a straight tail instead of having a fin on the back. Yeah, I'm super excited to use that. Now, a lot of people do use Kitex. The reason why I would say stay away from Kitex on the back of your chatterbait is I do think it ruins the action of the chatterbait a lot. Now, the docks that I do like to throw the chatterbait on the most, as I'm going into the as they're coming out from the winter, going into spring, I like to go deeper docks, and I kind of follow them to their spawning flat. So the closer they get to the spawn, the closer I go to their spawning flat and follow them. I mean, it's pretty much as simple as that. Now, the strike zone on a dock, what I would call the strike zone is anywhere 4 foot off of the dock and as far underneath the dock. So the whole entire dock and then 4 feet out of the dock is where I get majority of my bites. Obviously, I do have some that hit next to the side of the boat. There's a bunch of exceptions is basically what I'm trying to say, but that is kind of the money zone, is that area there. And one thing I did notice that I got tons of bites on last year when I was doing this is once in a while when you're reeling, give it a big jerk and it'll pop the bait and it'll start fluttering down, and I seem to get a lot of bites after I do that pop and on the flutter down. Can't say exactly why that is. Maybe it just kind of reaction strike and gets them, I don't know, but that's what I've noticed a ton of, so I recommend doing that. And yeah, there's not much else that I can say. I hope you guys learned something from this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for the next video of river rats. Peace.